Welcome to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast for all decision makers and action takers. Take it away, Esther.
And welcome back to another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Today we're joined by Niki Hutchison and we're talking about making money from marketing. Something we all want to do, right, Niki?
Absolutely.
So before we delve into the hows and whys and everything else around that, tell us about your own background in marketing.
So I actually did my first work experience in an ad agency in the strategy department when I was 14, and then became one of these very lucky people who knew exactly what I wanted to do from that age because I loved it so much. So I studied advertising up to postgrad level, and then I went to work in agencies, always in the strategy department, right up until 2012 when I started my own first business, which actually had nothing to do with marketing, but everything to do with marketing, because all businesses need to learn how to market
Yes.
themselves.
Louder for the
And
people
then
at
I
the back,
started,
please.
yes. And then I started my marketing company in 2017, and that is what I do full time now.
Brilliant. So you talked there about being in the strategy department. Why is strategy important?
So strategy is basically about knowing why you're doing what you're doing, but a crucial part of it is also knowing who you're trying to speak to. And that's really what I learned at an early age, which was really buyer behavior, customer psychology, any of these kind of fancy turns of phrase, but essentially just understanding what people want and how to give it to them in a way that is going to encourage them to actually take action. So when I was doing that work experience project, I was partnered up with another girl my age, and we were sent out onto the streets of Scotland. This must have been in the 90s anyway. And we were sent out onto the streets of Edinburgh in Scotland to talk to the general public about whether they thought that Scotland should join the euro currency or not. Now, Scotland did not join the euro currency, and I can tell you that not very many people were in favour of it at all when we spoke to them. And it just helped me to understand how to ask people questions. And this is essentially what you do as a strategist in an agency. I spent around 50% of my time as a marketing strategist out on the road speaking to people, gathering their opinions, because whatever marketing it is that you're doing, whether you're a big brand working with an agency or a solopreneur, it needs to be absolutely rooted in this real clear, detailed understanding of who your people are and what they want. So I call it going detective mode, because market research is a really boring phrase,
It
right?
really
Nobody
does
wants to do market research. But going detective mode sounds really fun. So I try and make marketing fun. And that's what I encourage all of the business owners that I work with to do, is get out that microscope and go detective mode and really learn as much as you possibly can about your customers. And you've probably got amazing stats and information in your business as well, if you've been running for any length of time, that you can share publicly and attract more of the right kinds of people. So it's about putting in the groundwork so that you're going to have a more successful result when you get to the sales side of things.
Yeah. So it's like Melanie and I say every time on the podcast, it's all about your audience. You need to know who you're talking to, and you need to know why they want to buy from you and what's going to help them in order to be able to, sell to them, because you can have the best product in the world or the best service in the world, but if you can't tell people why they need it and reach their pain points, then you're never going to sell it, because everybody will just be like, oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
But you need to get your messaging clear too, right? And that's also something that you help people with.
Absolutely. And I think it's about being agile as well. So when when I'm launching something, for example, or when we've got an agency side to the business, so when we're helping clients to launch whatever it is they want to launch, it's about really listening to those objections that are coming through, because it doesn't matter how much detective work you've done in advance, there will always be angles or thoughts that people have that you haven't taken into consideration yet. So I think that one of the most important things you can be in marketing today is agile, so that you are not just sticking to your original messaging. Essentially, it's about not thinking that you know best. Your customer knows best most of the time. And if you can act on that, well, they know what they want
Yeah,
best, is what
exactly.
I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, they know themselves best. They know whether you're selling them the thing that you're trying to sell them in the way that's going to work for them. And if it's not working, it's really important to listen to why it's not working for them and the objections that they have. And then you can be agile with your messaging and speak to them and essentially solve those problems, handle, I don't really like the phrase handle those objections, but that's what you're doing.
Manage them.
You're
You manage them.
reassuring
Yeah.
them. Yeah, you're reassuring them that actually this thing, of course, ethically, and if it is the
Of
right thing
course.
for them.
Yeah.
But if they haven't understood the benefits of it and you really believe that it's the right thing for them, then you can try a different tack, a different approach when it comes to messaging based on what they're telling you.
Yeah. So in order to get your messaging right, again, we're back to the, knowing your audience and knowing who, like how they buy and what they buy and when they buy,
Mm.
so obviously there's all these different seasons to the year, and sometimes your product or service could sell better during maybe the Christmas season or the summertime, depending on what it is that you're selling. What do you recommend to people during those downtimes, during the off-peak seasons, whatever they may be?
So I think that we can create our own demand. I think that as business owners, we are in complete control of whether people buy or not. And I think that it's very easy for us as business owners to almost make excuses for the sales not coming in. Now, obviously, my background is marketing, but I firmly believe that today it is vital for marketing and sales to work more closely, more hand in hand than ever before. So if you're not making enough sales in the off period, let's call it an off period, um, it's probably because you're not doing enough of the hard work. You're not doing enough of the marketing. You're not getting yourself or your product or whatever it is visible enough in front of enough people. And then, even if you've done that phase, if they're still not buying, then you're probably not doing the selling activity that you need to do. So I'll give you an example from my business. Whenever I'm launching, the marketing is only step one. And many of the sales will come through personal outreach. So, as part of my sales and marketing activity, every single day, I am reaching out to people. I have a leads tracker, I have a leads list. It has different tabs for the different things that I'm trying to sell at different times. And I'll basically look at all of the resources, all of the different groups of people who are in my world. So I will look at people who maybe I have looked after by doing an affiliate for somebody else. They're one audience. I'll look at people who've already bought from me. Maybe they're current clients in my mastermind and they might want to join my membership. That's another audience. I might have run a free challenge a couple of months ago and people didn't buy at that moment in time. Maybe it wasn't the right offer for them, or maybe it wasn't the time for them. So I'll go back to them and I'll revisit them. I've got this expression, do you know the film Love Actually,
Oh,
where he
yes.
sings, "Love is all around us"? My version of that is leads are all around us. There are always, always more people who we could be selling to. And the responsibility as business owners is on us to make sure that A, they know what we're selling and it's really clear.
Yeah.
B, we've made it relevant to them. And C, we've given them multiple opportunities to buy.
And how would you recommend people go about their marketing when they are busy? Because a lot of people, and I see this all the time, and marketers are guilty of it as well, that they take the foot off the accelerator with their own marketing when their pipeline is full, when their client list is full, and only kickstart it back up again whenever one of those clients is moving on, or something opens up, or they bring on new staff. Or so how do marketers or busy business owners keep the momentum going with their marketing?
Yeah, it's such a great question. And I hear it all the time as well. And it really worries me. It's one of the most, it's one of the things that makes my heart sink is when I hear somebody say, oh, I'm just, I'm really busy just now. So I'm just going to put marketing on the back burner. And the reason it makes my heart sink is that we all know what's coming next is there's going to be a trough. Isn't
Yeah.
it? Peaks and troughs. There's going to be a trough because people have forgotten about you. You haven't been consistent. So the way that I try and tackle it, and this is what I recommend to clients as well, is to have fixed times in the week. So in my business and now in a lot of my clients' businesses, we have what I call marketing Mondays. And of course I'm biased. We love marketing, Esther, don't we?
Of
So
course.
I think marketing is a brilliant way to start your week, but not only
Absolutely.
because I actually enjoy marketing, but because it will get you off to a really great start in terms of your visibility. And it means that it's less easy for marketing to slip off the radar as your week fills up and as it progresses. So I, having struggled with exactly this kind of thing in the past where I didn't make time for the sales outreach maybe, or I didn't make time for this, that, and the other, I now have very fixed times in my diary. And it's taken a number of years to get to that point where I have certain days blocked out where I don't have client calls. I have my Mondays blocked out for marketing activities. So I kick that off with my membership call first thing in the morning, where I call it an action ship, because it is all about, it's not about giving people more to do, it's about helping people get more done. So we focus on the marketing activities. I have my half an hour to an hour every single day, Monday to Friday, where I'm doing my sales outreach at certain times. I have reminders. I use an app called Habit Share, so that should something crop up and I don't manage to do my activity in the allotted time, I'm still going to get a reminder later in the day so that I don't forget about it altogether. I try and make marketing fit into my day as well. So normally if I'm out walking the dog in the morning, that's when I'll do my stories to camera. I'll share them. And by the time I get home, by about 8 a.m., that bit of my marketing is already done. So for me, it's a kind of two-pronged approach. The first one is, how can I multitask? How can I make it as easy as possible for myself to fit marketing into the things that I'm already doing? Actually, I'm going to make this 3. The second thing is
It's a
to
fork.
remember, yeah, is to remember to always capture photographs and videos whenever I'm out doing anything, so that I've always got this bank of B-roll and photography that I can use to create
Everything
content
is
really,
content.
really easily. Absolutely. And then the third thing is blocking out these chunks of time so that it doesn't disappear, and having the reminders set just in case something goes wrong.
And obviously on a Monday, you find those 10, 15, 20 minutes to listen to the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. It's a great
Absolutely.
time.
Podcasts I listen to in the car, I'm sure, like lots of people, or walking the dog. But I'm trying to be kind of a bit less on my phone all the time when I'm out in nature. So yeah, the podcast is perfect for car listening later in the day.
Okay, so let's break it down for people. How do you make money from marketing? Because there are so many businesses still today do not see the value in marketing, or see the value in social media, or see the value in making videos, or see, they're just going, "Ah, it's an extra, it's an add-on, it's a, when we have time sort of thing, we'll do it then." How do we make people see that it is essential in this day and age to include marketing as, a main part of your strategy?
The idea that we can run and grow a business and make the money that we want to make without marketing is as wild to me as the idea that we would do work and then not bother sending the invoice. It's completely back to front thinking. And obviously, everybody has different goals, different objectives, different lifestyles that they want to lead. But too many small business owners are struggling. And the reason that they're struggling is because they're not prioritizing marketing. Because how can anybody buy from you if they don't know that you exist? And how can you possibly complain that you're not making enough sales if you're not doing the marketing and sales activity that are going to give you that result? So we've talked about how to fit it into your day. How to convince somebody of the value of marketing is, I guess I would ask you, if you're in that situation, if you're unhappy about the revenue that you're generating, the clients that you're working with, the results that you're achieving, what else is going to get you those results other than marketing? Because marketing is essentially making sure that more people, like enough people, know about you. Hopefully more and more. You're building momentum. So that's what marketing drives the sales in your business. So if you're not making enough sales, and that's the number one complaint of small business owners, if you're not making enough sales and you're not prepared to do the marketing, what else are you going to do to make those sales? And I mean, when I talk about marketing, I'm talking about multiple different ways. There will be a way that works for you, and you do not have to do all the things that are available to you. So, when I first started my marketing business, I already had another business that I was running, albeit I had a team helping me. So I didn't have the time, and we didn't have the technology at that point. We, in our business, it may have existed, to be recording a video podcast every week, for example. So work within the resources that you have and grow from there. But if you think that not prioritizing marketing is a good idea if you want to grow your business, you're kidding yourself.
Because, well, something that really stuck out to me there is, use what you have available to you. And a lot of people will turn to us, and I hate being on video. And I understand when people come and say, no, 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 I don't have the confidence to do that. I couldn't build up to it. You don't have
Yeah.
to start with a TikTok account and dancing all over the place. Just be the voice in the background, be the one taking the photographs, just do it, do something,
Yeah.
So I think that's a
I
lot of people
used
go, oh, no, because, I saw the competitor and they've already got 20,000 followers and I couldn't. Like, everybody starts at the same point. Everybody starts in zero.
Yeah, and let other people's success fire you up
Yes.
instead of intimidate you.
Yeah.
I used to run a free, just when you're talking about being scared of going on video, when I started this business in 2017, I started a free Facebook group, and I thought, right, I'm going to try and grow this, and I'm going to go live every week on video. And at the time, I was working out of my old office, which had beige walls, I've got a thing about beige. I'm not a fan. Beige walls and those really awful strip lights overhead that make everything look really terrible. But that was what we had. And so I just decided, right, I'm just going to do it. And I was so nervous that I wrote myself out a script, and I thought I'll just record myself reading through this script and see how I get on, and then I'll go live after that. So I recorded myself. It took about 10 minutes. And then I watched back the video and I thought, do you know what? That was all right. That was okay. I'll just post that. I don't need to go live. So even me as a marketer, and there are so many benefits of going live rather than sharing a pre-recorded piece of content, or in that at that time there were in Facebook groups. But even me as a marketer, I was too scared, or I was giving myself permission not to show up live, basically. But then I did, and I went live every single week for 3 years in that group, and it really established my business. And more importantly, it gave me the confidence. So I can now talk about anything to anybody, anywhere.
And that's another key point in your marketing, isn't it? To be consistent, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's going live every Monday morning, whether it's, sending an email every Friday afternoon, whatever the consistency is, you need to have it and stick to it. And like Niki was saying, have a reminder set up. I have things all over my calendar going, okay, so today's the day for this and the next day is that. Do they get done half the time? Probably not. But it's there as a time for me to focus on something that will generate, or should hopefully generate, more leads and more clients. Because if you're just doing the client work, or if you're just building the product because you've got 20 or 50 orders come in, and you're not marketing while doing it to fill up the pipeline beforehand, or coming after, then you're going to hit a brick wall, and it's going to be so much harder to start up again, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I talk about having non-negotiables. And again, this will depend what stage of business you're at, what size of team you have, if you have any support, or if it's just you. I would still really encourage you to have non-negotiables. So, for example, in my business, my non-negotiables are that I will publish a newsletter every Tuesday, that I will publish a podcast every Friday, that I will show up on Instagram stories daily, multiple times, that I will show up on LinkedIn daily, at least Monday to Friday every week, that I will be present on Facebook, having conversations with people, posting my own content. I use my personal profile because it gets a better reach. So these are some of my non-negotiables. Now, when I started out, I didn't have a weekly newsletter. I didn't have a weekly podcast. So pick where you're at and decide what you're going to do. But it's no longer enough to just be doing one thing, unfortunately. So showing up on Instagram is not it. It's not the one.
It's not the
Showing
one
up on
on its own.
Instagram. Exactly. Showing up on Instagram and having a newsletter so that you're capturing people's emails and hitting their inbox where they're far more likely to see you. Yep, you're starting to get there. But then what are you going to add in for visibility? And I also really like the idea, or the concept, or the method, I should say, of not simply relying on your own channels. And again, this is something that is only growing in importance in 2025. And it's this connecting with people, putting yourself in the room, whether virtual or in person, if you can, is incredible, very powerful. And building those relationships that we're still recovering from not having had during COVID. Sorry to mention that. But, it's taken a long time for a lot of people to recover from COVID. And the businesses that have recovered best from COVID are the ones that are adopting this multi-channel marketing approach and the ones that are building relationships. So whether that's in the DMs, in virtual Zoom rooms, or in actual rooms, I really encourage you to get out from behind your desk and go and meet people if you can.
On that note, how can people meet you? Where can they drop into your DMs? How can they learn more about you, Niki? And what else have you got coming up?
So I am a prolific Instagram user. I can't bear to look at those notifications, where it tells you how many times you've opened your phone in a day. You'll mainly find me on Instagram in the DMs, but also on LinkedIn. And I like to speak at events. I like to host events. So at this moment in time, I have, if you're listening to this around the time of recording, I'm hosting an event in London on the 10th of November, 2025, Launch Like a Pro, where you're going to learn how to launch your thing into the world successfully and leave with your launch plan actually ready to execute. No more wondering, no more questions, but going for it. And then I have an annual event that I run with my friend Abby C, who is a copywriter and all-round amazing human, called Adventures in Marketing. And we run that in Edinburgh every February. So that is coming up on the 5th of February, 2026.
Brilliant. And you've just launched an action ship, as you were alluding to earlier. So how can people find out more about that?
Yes, so I've actually just launched it behind the scenes to some very special people. So basically what I did, and this is about a long lead launch, what I did was I decided I wanted to give people a year ago, the 2nd of September 2024, I hosted my first Marketing Mondays session. And it was essentially a drop-in marketing session where the focus was very much on helping people to get into this habit of prioritizing their marketing on a Monday. And I ran that for a year and then decided to host it inside a membership. But I am referring to it as an action ship because I think that today, I don't know if you agree, Esther, I think that there is a lot of guilt around memberships, and there are a lot of memberships that just have too much in there. It's all workshops and Zooms and replays, and nobody's got any time for these. And I really, as I've mentioned already, I really believe in making things easy for ourselves. So for me, making things easy is I love to connect with people online. I love to support people to actually get their marketing done. And I love to help people somehow find the accountability that they need to move the needle in their business every single week. So those are the elements. There's personalized accountability in there. Those are the elements that are in my membership. There are no webinars. There is no extra stuff for you to do. It's about giving you the tools that you need to do more without heaping more stuff onto your plate. So anyway, that's my rant. That's why the membership exists. So I only opened the doors to people who had been part of Marketing Mondays over the last year, but it is launching to the public in November as well. So I'm very happy to share the link with your podcast listeners as well, who can sneak in as founder members soon. So it's nikihutchison.com/membership is where they can find out more about that.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Niki, for coming on today and for talking to me all about how to make more money from marketing, because it's a question that we get asked a lot, because people, like I said, don't really see the value in it until it disappears. But yes, we all need to be marketing more, and the more you market, the more money you'll make from it. So
absolutely.
That's it for today, guys. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast. Until then, bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye.